My name is Michelle Gilbert, and I'm out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am a Microsoft Teams technical specialist. So I go pretty deep into the modern workplace, SharePoint, Yammer, OneDrive, and very specifically Teams. Here's some of my credentials. If you want to reach out or connect to me, please feel free to do that. Let me know where you came from so I know how to connect you. So all my information should be right there for you. All right, so today I'm going to talk about what is new in Microsoft Teams. And I bet you're thinking, I cannot cover it in 1 hour. You are absolutely right, because there's too many updates. But I am going to try to highlight ones that are the most popular, that I think are cool, that I think will be of value for you, and just share as much information as I can. So I plan to go fast, but don't worry. This is being recorded. You can get the slide deck, and let's just go ahead and get started. All right, super high level, but I want to walk through what is Teams. For Microsoft, Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork. It is a combination of really communication and collaboration. So it's your chat-based workspace. So you communicate, and here's the icons that you use: chat, meetings, calling, whether you are on a desktop client or a mobile device. Then you got collaboration, bringing in that underlying SharePoint. So you have a Files tab. I actually prefer the Files icon myself, so I can see where all my files are. And then you can even use the mobile for getting to your files, opening them, editing them. Then you call it I would call it the third pillar, but this is the ability to customize and extend, because really Microsoft is a platform company. And this is the capability within Teams to extend it out to applications, bots, and more automation. And of course, the fourth one, last but not least, is all the great administrative and configuration controls that you can put in place. So these are the 4 areas I'm going to focus on for all the new updates that are coming. All right, but I can't do that without looking at where we came from. So can you believe Teams just turned 3 in March? I know I can't. I've been in it since the beginning. I can't believe how much it's grown. It launched in 2017, and in March, it was 44 million. Can you believe, just a few short months ago? But now, as of June, our new numbers are 75 plus million daily active users. So what did we deliver? Customers really liked it so much and had so many suggestions when it came out in 2017. They flooded user voice. They were throwing all kinds of things in Twitter. Hey, we need this, we want that. Oh, it's going to replace Skype. Well, we need all the same goodness of Skype wrapped into it, but we want to bring in SharePoint, but we need these features like a list, a library. I want to change your views and so forth. But then admins are like, well, we need a control. So think of all the different suggestions. And this is what we came up with and delivered in 2018. And then again in 2019, feedback has allowed us to really evolve Microsoft Teams. I love this product so much. It's one of those that we grow it based on what people need and what businesses need. So as you all know, the service is evolving rapidly. We added a ton of things from Ignite 2018 to Ignite 2019. And I bet you probably want to capture what just happened in that slide. I know I did when I first saw it. I'm like, this is cool. So I'm going to just snapshot that for you right here. So this is all the cool things that happen throughout the whole lifespan in between that time period. So this is a good shot too to just talk about what did we deliver in 2019. This is the progress throughout that entire year. Now let's move over to 2020. What's interesting is 2019, look at this shot, just even looking at the size of the breadth of all the features that were updated or added to. And in 2020, as of June, look at our growth. I am going to try and cover the highlights of the last 6 months in this presentation, but I may skip over things, but just know you can come back to the slide. All right, let's go. First part is collab. I'm going to focus on what are the new changes that have come out in the chat and collab features. So in GA, we had private channels, cross-channel posting, announcements. So not just a regular text, you can actually change that to say an announcement, putting in a subject line with an image to make something more pronounced, priority notifications, read receipts, pinning your app and your channel, tags and teams, multi-window chat. But the next, and this will be throughout this presentation, this next column called coming soon, that means that it's either in preview or rolling out. So you could already have it today, but this is kind of the stage it's in with about a 3-week period. All right, read receipts in private chats. So no longer do you have to wait to see if somebody saw it while you're in a private chat. Read receipts is coming. Suggested replies, much like they have it in LinkedIn, they're now going to have 3 responses based on the context of the conversation to say, you know, how are you? Great, fine, excellent. And so you can just simply tap on it and it'll throw it in there. Contextual search and pin posts. I know I'm excited for pin posts and of course search. Some of this has already come out, I think, but the Outlook and Teams integration and then Yammer and Teams integration. And there is a few of these that I'll highlight in the next couple slides. Templates in Teams, I think that's going to be growing fast, and that will be fast and furious coming soon. The new file sharing experience, and then tasks in Teams. And tasks in Teams, yep.
Good question
Sure.
from Ken Welch. He's asking if there's an option to disable or block read receipts similar to what's available in Outlook.
I have not seen that coming down, but I will note it and see if I can't get that answer to you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. All right, and then Task in Teams is a combination of To-Do and Planner, and then your tasks. So it's one app for all of your task management, which, you know, managing them in several places has been very difficult. All right, so a few highlights. We've got the Teams multi-window chat here. This is the capability to pull out your chat, as well as start with a pop-out, chats in multiple windows. I'll tell you what else will be able to pop out soon. Then we've got the Teams increased team membership and group chat. So we have learned for sure in the last few months the need to have more people in a meeting, whether it's a live event, but in this case, this is going to be having a team membership from 5,000 to 10,000 users. And then we had rolled out a few months ago, or a couple months ago, we said, hey, we understand group chats. You may want to have more people, so we bumped it to 250. Now we're also accommodating 300. So things are growing as we learn. And again, if you were to look at all the different features that we have enabled or we've built, that's based on feedback. And that's what all you're going to see with all the increases and new features here. Next one is Teams using tags. It lets you quickly reach out to a group of people all at once, put them all up, and then put a tag around them. So whether that's a group or a project you're working on, multi-department, but just quickly being able to tag them, categorize them, and then @mention them. All right, next one I'm going to show you is the email integrations and Yammer integrations. So here you're going to see the ability within Outlook to go ahead and share your message or your email to a team channel. So this is what it looks like. It's the Teams Outlook email integration. Really easy to send an email or a chat. Instead of knowing what that email address of your team is, like it is today, you can just simply choose from the channels or teams that you already are in. So sharing the email to teams and including attachments, and then sharing conversations via email. So sharing a Teams conversation back to email without leaving the app. All right, here's some tasks in Teams. It's giving you a new unified view of all of your personal and assigned tasks, like I mentioned earlier. This is based on Microsoft To Do, Planner, Outlook, kind of this whole integration of all of the things that you have to keep track of instead of going to these multiple places. Users have smart views, so you'll be able to see what's assigned, what's prioritized, and then you can see them in different views like you would normally think of SharePoint. You can see it in a list, a board, a chart, a schedule, much like Planner. all those things and great things to get your own work done. And now introducing, coming in August, so that would be right around the corner from now, the new app called List. And lists are going to be located in the waffle. They're going to be all over the place. This I wanted to show you is the capability for creating and really getting a list real quick added to Teams that already has that metadata. So bringing that whole richness, instead of creating all the lists and all the columns inside of SharePoint, now you can just use the Lists app and put that as a tab inside of Teams. You'll hear a whole lot more about that, I'm sure. All right, now let's focus on communicate.
One more question for you before you go to this one, Melissa.
Sure.
Let's see. Jose is asking about the membership slide that you showed up and some of those improvements. Does that membership limitation apply to org-wide teams?
I think that's really just talking about a chat. I think I know where you're referring to.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be a chat. And so channel conversation is different.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Jose?
Yeah, because channel goes for everyone.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, great.
Awesome. Let's keep going. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. I know there's a lot to cover, so feel free to interrupt me. I'm just going to go as fast as I can with all the greatness I have. So, all right, Microsoft Teams meetings. There's 4 primary types. I think we all know the one we're in right now. We are in a scheduled one. But there's also ad hoc. That's that meet now. Then you've got channel, which is in context to the channel, you can start a meeting. And then you have live events, and those are going to be your town hall, your company all hands, even conferences. So the new innovation in Teams meetings, the top portion is shipped since January. Then we've got the middle that's shipped in the first quarter. Some of the things I care about is what's happening now, because I've been in Teams, and I'm sure you have too. Some of the things is being able to right-click for your meeting experience and join. Your raise hand, which I think we did earlier, the presenter and attendee roles. So great things happening. And then, of course, ending the meeting. But to highlight some more, we've got, of course, the features that we've already rolled out that you all have probably gotten familiar with. I know I'm using one right now called Custom Background, which I think is fantastic. If you want to see my real background, it's like a map on the wall, so not so fun. Then we've got multi-window meeting, meeting chat, live captions, video layout. That was cool for a second until we said, hey, I want more. And then raise hand. But now, some cool things. If you're in IT and you're wanting to have more people into a meeting, what's coming soon is ability to add distribution lists and groups to scheduled meetings. So before, I know everyone can say adding somebody individually is pretty painful. So that it will be coming soon. Microsoft Whiteboard, it's already there today, but this is the full featured. So, you know, when you use just the whiteboard within a Teams meeting, you get kind of the light version, or like I like to call it, I explain that like there's Microsoft, your client, or Microsoft Word. You know, if you put it up, it's not as many features. So we're trying to improve that by adding more capability in the whiteboard. Share system audio and live events. So in a live event, if you have a video you want to play, there's a little toggle or a check mark to say, share my audio if I play something. And of course, video layout. I can't tell you, and I'll probably talk about this a whole lot, but we've got a new video layout with 7x7 picture. We've got together mode. We've got dynamic view, video filters. If you maybe want to have a different tint to your face. Virtual breakout rooms. It's probably one of the most popular that will be coming. I believe it will be coming, well, for sure by the end of the year. Let's just say that. And then noise suppression. And this one's super interesting. If you haven't checked it out, I would definitely go and search for it. But it's basically the concept of if somebody's eating, say, you know, potato chips, and they're crimpling that bag, even this close to their face, which is like maybe, you know, a few inches, it will suppress that noise. So super fantastic, cool things happening. All right, so let's look at video custom. For you. Yeah.
As you're going, I'm trying to find my right rhythm and timing. I'm really messing that up. I apologize, Michelle. The distribution list item that was in the right corner for coming soon.
Yep.
Do you have any more information on that one? Pamela
Yeah,
Gordon's asking about it.
Yeah, if Joel wants to Bing it and throw the link in there, yeah, it's definitely out there. I believe, check the team's roadmap. That's where I grabbed it.
Got it. Okay, I'll pop a URL to it. Thank you.
Yeah. To do is take what I knew, take all the blog goodness, and then look at the roadmap and build this deck based on that. So if some of these things are new, it's really all out there. It's just not really culminated in one location. So that's what I'm hoping to try to deliver. But I'm glad you caught that, because I think that's like an unknown. I didn't even hear about it. I didn't see a blog about it, but that's a really important one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so custom backgrounds. That's already rolled out, as you can see, but if you aren't aware, you can use custom backgrounds. You can have backgrounds that are standard, meaning I think we've got about 8 ones that Microsoft made. A lot of balloons, not really sure why, so people are celebrating a lot apparently, but you can add your own, so add a custom one. So the feature builds on background blur, and I think it's pretty fantastic. So there's more to come there. I've got another announcement about the custom backgrounds later in my admin section. All right, raise hand in meeting. We already have that today. It rolled out in April, so just another tidbit about it. Okay, here is the 3x3. This is what we all see today, and some of you might be seeing already the 7x7. So more enriched video experience, a lot easier. Also the ability, I mean, there's so much stuff here, but also the ability as a person's talking that they're highlighted. Let's just dive right into June 8th. To me, July 8th. There's a Microsoft 365 blog. We announced a set of new features in Teams, making like virtual interaction more natural, more engaging, and really ultimately more human. So what you see before you is called Together mode, and it takes everyone in a meeting. So think of, you've got a drop down at your meeting, and you can change it to Together mode, large gallery, and I think maybe regular gallery. I'd have to look. But Together mode puts everyone in a chair. And you can imagine, like, yeah, this is cool, but hey, what if I want everybody in a conference room? Or we're having a happy hour, I want everybody at the bar. Like, so I'm sure that this is going to grow. I don't have any real information, but I imagined that will be a really fun one as it expands. Dynamic view. I'm not going to drain this slide because there's so much. I'm going to go ahead and pop this into our meeting. If I can get there. All right, well, maybe as you guys are searching around, would you mind going out and finding this wonderful blog on, you just have to bang Reimagine virtual collaboration. So this talks through every one of these things. Thank you. Dynamic view, video filter, like I mentioned, just a filter over your face, kind of like they did with cameras back in the day. Got just a little filter. Live reactions, chat bubbles. So when I go ahead and like something, it'll actually float up above me. And so you can see in context and in line in the conversation how people are feeling, just more engaging. Live captions. Let's see, whiteboard updates I mentioned, tasks app, suggested replies. One of the coolest ones, I think I'll talk about in another slide, but Cortana in Teams. So if I come in to my office, I can say, you know, what are my meetings today, or join the meeting. So now I have that, I don't want to say her name, I could, Alexa. It's that same type, but now in business. And now I can interact with that type of experience and be more efficient. So super excited for that. Teams displays and touchless meeting experience, we'll show that. All right, just a quick part on Teams calling. I'm not going to drain this one either, but the ability, and I don't know if everyone realizes, you can actually use calling within Teams, call for everyone at your fingertips, calling your clients, and using PSTN. So new innovation there. I'd say the first top section is shipped since January. Then we've got last quarter, and then futures. I'd say the future ones I want to show you, or I wouldn't say futures, they're kind of current right now. But Avaya, session border controller, certified for direct routing. We've got call merge. I think people had been really waiting for call merge. Multiple number dialing, and then multi-window calling experiences. So what I mean by that is popping out your call. So when I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a multi-window later. Yep, this is one of them. There's another one coming. I'm not going to go through too much, but there's a lot of great stuff happening that it had happened in 2019. You know, being named a leader in Gartner for sure really helps boost all the capabilities, because as we get more popular, people use us and ask for more ideas or more features. It becomes definitely a more robust platform. So Microsoft phone system, no hardware is needed. You have direct routing. I think our last session certainly had a lot of information on that. Okay. Calling plans that you can use, as well as direct routing. So available in your phone system, super easy to customize. And of course, we have certified partners that can help with all of this. Here's our direct routing and calling plans. Global coverage, 80 plus countries and growing. I'm sure it's even grown further since this. Next slide is on Microsoft Teams devices. Just for a moment, I wanted to show you all the different devices. They grow, certainly as the product grows. I'd say my favorite one is the new Surface Board. I think that's pretty fantastic, especially now that I'm from home. I wish I had one. But these are all the new capabilities. All right, so now we're going to talk about and shift a little bit about Firstline Workers. And this is a kind of a separate section, but yet this was a focus for 2019, but certainly for 2020. Teams has been great for information workers. It's been great for IT and security. It's been great for people deploying apps, but it really lacked the focus for your first-line workers, your frontline people, construction workers, retail workers, grocers, you name it. These people didn't really have access to company intranet real easily, and they had to go on some sort of personal computer, perhaps get through a VPN, pretty difficult. What we wanted to do here is create a space that they could easily connect to through mobile experience. And this is where Teams really comes in to help with that. So some of the capabilities that Firstline Workers focuses on is Microsoft Shifts. Shifts is a task management or schedule management tool. It's an app you already own. It's in Teams. And it gives you the ability to set a schedule for people to clock in, to go ahead and see what any open shifts there are, and share their schedule. So some of the goodness there I'm going to show with you and kind of walk you through a scenario. But they've got quiet hours, dark mode, that stuff can't come out. But the coming soon is some of the administrative things, SMS sign-in, off-shift access, global sign out. I love the delegated user management. I think it's a cool thing. I'll show you about it. But it's instead of IT managing, if you have a store and you have a store manager and he has all his employees, you can delegate that user management to that manager to direct permission or access to the apps or to the company himself. So really great to be able to delegate that. And then patient coordination. And this one you may not have heard of because I just saw it yesterday come on the roadmap, called audit login shifts. So now you can actually get some more detail of that CRUD, which is your create, read, update, and delete information that users are doing within shifts. All right, so let's go ahead and walk through a scenario. So this is Lydia. She uses shifts to quickly check and manage her shift schedules. At the bottom, she goes ahead and clicks shifts. This is in the Teams app. Once it opens, Lydia scans her upcoming shifts and she can do a request, she can do an open, she can do a time clock, but as you see there, she can see her calendar. And then after tapping on her upcoming shift, she sees the details of that shift. along with any day and shift notes. As you can see, you can also do a swapping a shift with someone, or even offer up your shift. So she wants to go ahead and look to see who else she's going to be working with, and maybe swap a shift. So she clicks Alex Wilbur's upcoming Friday shift. And then she uses shifts to send a request to him and to see if he'll swap shifts with her. So what really is happening here is that it goes out and it sends a notification to him if you'd like to swap a shift. If he says yes, then it will go to the manager for approval. So this is all using underlying Power Automate. That's pretty cool stuff. All right, so now Lydia's done. She's going to go on the bus, maybe go to work. So while she's doing that, though, she can search for open shifts that she wants to pick up, maybe a few more hours. Once she chooses a shift, so for instance, as you can see there, she can click the Thursday shift. A notification, again, will be sent to her manager, Adele, for approval. So approval is very strong within shifts. After managing her schedule, she can jump on the bus, enjoy her commute to work, knowing that her productive day is off to a good start. So she can see that there. Now she arrives, maybe she goes into the store, and the first thing she does is go ahead and clock in. You can do that to the right from within Teams. All right, so as you can see, there is the time clock. Clicking on that, she can go ahead and start. Make it really easy for her to visually track when her shift starts. And then that's when she can also go ahead and say, I'm going to take a break. So as you can see, there's a full rich cycle or circle of her work day, what shifts she has, what does everybody else have, who does she work with. The cool thing about it's like there's more capability that's growing on top of that. So the old days of having a clipboard in the back, you had to go see where's your shift. Now it's in an app. So just a really seamless way. Some cool features coming out is the identity and access capabilities. So like I said, the delegated user management, SMS sign-in, global sign-out from all devices, and then off-shift access. So that's great for California law that you can't be off or working if you are off your shift. Well, when she goes into that app, it'll basically not allow, you have to accept the terms to continue using it if you are not working at that time. So let me show you what that looks like. So I accept, and then you can go ahead and continue to go into your app. Then you've got the global sign out here. This is where if there's people on multiple shared devices, you can just sign everyone out. Then you've got delegated user management. This one I said, it's so important, like just to take the load off of IT, allow managers to circumvent those problems, helping them change password or even add a phone to a system. So if they log in by phone number and they lose their phone or they get a new number, then they can easily have, the manager can just replace that and then get back into the system. And then the SMS sign-in process, obviously a whole lot better protection. Some things here, patient coordination. This is in the healthcare space where you can integrate with patient record management platforms and have all the scheduled management or scheduled meetings in contacts within Teams. And that's same for virtual consults. This is the meeting portion. And this is great, you know, if it's doctors, it could be great if you are a decorator. Just the concept of being able to have a virtual consult management system. All right, I'm gonna switch real quick and focus on accessibility. You know, while we have some of this still in the works, I wanted to at least show you some of the cool things, the AI-powered capabilities, inline message translation, mobile Teams meeting live captions. So while you're on your device, sitting on a bus or wherever you're traveling to, you can just, instead of listen, maybe you can just watch it and read it. Meeting recording transcription. And then, of course, we all know about background blur and live captions. Some things you might not know, this next group here, I'm really excited about. You know, we have presence indicators, but the one that I'm the most excited for is the voice commands feature where typing is not required. I get pretty excited, especially, you know, I'm as excited about this as I am about Cortana because I don't have to type. And that anything I don't have to type saves me time and makes everything just a little bit more efficient. So as for the theme, I usually choose dark myself, but you do have default or high contrast. And then with immersive reader, I actually use this and it's out there already. So if you haven't, check it out on any single post or channel message to the right, the couple dots there, more options. Go ahead and click on immersive reader and it'll pull you into a different experience for you to consume information the way that you prefer. A lot of times I like this. I'm a multitasker, so anyone who is a multitasker or needs more accessible experience, go in there and check it out because it will read to you as well. So if you can't tell, I want more automation. I want things to read to me and I want to talk to it. So that's me. All right, the next section is for customizing and extending. Like I mentioned already, Microsoft is a platform company. And Teams is highly extensible with apps, bots, automation. So here are the latest updates. All right, general availability. Of course, you can publish your app to Teams. The admin can control, or the user can pin the app to the left rail. You've got, of course, app permission policies and setup policies. You now have an app catalog. So you can block apps just out of the box right away. You've got third-party single sign-on that came out, and then Kronos inside of Shifts integration. But what's coming soon, more triggers for Teams, but what was just announced at Inspire already is called Data Flex. That's formerly from the Common Data Service, but it's where, in context within Teams, of course, you can build Power Apps and virtual agents. So you don't have to go out to come back in. You have to go out to push it to come in. You can now just create from within, which I'm really excited about. And then I just saw this today. I was listening to Office Flash Friday, which is every Friday news 30-minute webcast from Minneapolis. And I saw allow contributors to update the app for this workspace. So how many times did you have to say, okay, yeah, go ahead and I'll give you permission and then I'll allow you, you know, and now it's just a check mark. So contributors can just add to it without having to redeploy. So I think that's going to be pretty life-changing for developers that have been struggling going back and forth. All right, publish your app for Microsoft Teams. You do that right to the store, just showing you where you do it. You can publish it out to your tenant. So you can make it tenant-wide. And then you can publish it to a specific team. So what I guess the takeaway here is that there's controls that you can put in place on who consumes it. Just because you publish it to your tenant doesn't necessarily mean everyone gets it. You still have to use your app policies to be able to set who can see it. So just letting you know, there's a lot of really good governance stuff over there, but that's how you will publish your app. Then there's app, of course, like I mentioned, discoverability using setup policies. I could have a whole session on this. Then we've got permission policies, so don't forget, that's where you allow people to see or have control and use those apps. All right, here's new Publisher Attestation. I believe I have announced this before, but this is the Manage Apps section inside of the M360 or Microsoft Teams Admin Center. And this is going to be a list of all those 525 and growing applications that you need to put governance around. And you get to learn more about them. You get to actually see who is the publisher. You can set if you allow it in your organization, which means you still have to apply the policy back to the users. But this is a really great snapshot. So you don't have to scroll through a little window and try to figure out what it is. It's all here for you. And then you can see what's certified. I think that's probably one of the strongest pieces is, the application security, the pen testing, any other information you need to know about it, compliance, if you're in a regulated industry, it's all there written out for you. And then we do have a new crisis communications app that's been built. I know that was really talked about a few months back, but yeah, it's still being used, and it's got an integration between Teams and Power Platform. And we've got more triggers coming. We always got more triggers coming. Not going to drain that. Helping you streamline routine tasks, integrating workflows in business apps. But this is the big announcement here is DataFlex. Quickly build and deploy apps and bots inside of Teams. So if you haven't checked this announcement out, it's not out yet. I know I haven't seen it, but it's coming. I think it's soon. But go ahead and check out the new blog post about DataFlex. Just going to make your virtual agent bot building and your Power App building so much easier. All right, last but not least, okay, are there any IT admins out there? Raise your hand. All right, hopefully we have some. Okay, well, I would say we know how important it is because I came from IT. I was a GA to constantly with security and compliance center, or the admin center too. So that's the work with confidence pillar that I was referring to. It's a last but not least, for sure. It's probably one of the strongest. The updates, I'm going to first talk through where do you manage teams, and then I'm going to get you into what are the new cool things that you can do. And there's a big one that I'm going to share with you at the end. Okay, you've got the Teams Admin Center. That's where you go ahead and do all your configuration of your permission and your policies. Then you've got the Compliance, Security, and Compliance Center. That's where you're going to be setting up your policies, your DLP policies. Then we've got Azure Active Directory, and that's where you're putting your M365 group policies together, right? Your expiration policy, your blocked words that you don't want people to use when they're creating a group, and so forth. So here's some of the cool things that are happening in that space. We've got sensitivity labels for Teams. It's in preview now. If you haven't heard, information barriers has been around for a little bit. So if that's something of interest, that's also available. I'm sure you know one-day retention policies. This is kind of a few months back, and safe links, e-discovery support for the threaded conversation, and then audit log support for all your messaging events. So as the product is growing, like I said, 3 years, we're really trying to really jam it into the whole M365 suite. And that means all the security and compliance stuff. All right, so here we go. Here's our recap. We've got general availability, Teams Advisor, my favorite, and reports, of course. We've got policy packages, making it so much easier to deploy a new policy, like an app policy, to a group. So right now we're doing great with EDU and healthcare, and we're working on the other side of that, which is where you can create your own. Network planner, team and cross analytics, chat, retention being 1 day, sensitivity labels, a tenant-wide default for who can present in a meeting, and now it's coming soon. Background effects policy for admins. This is a really great new feature because that's what I think most of my customers have said. Hey, that's great. Everybody can upload an image, but as an admin or as security or as this type of company, we do not want that. So background effects policy will be in the admin center coming soon. And there's I think it's on the roadmap, so that's where you could go find it if you want to learn what can you do. I believe you can restrict it completely, or you can say only background blur. But go check out the details. Manage team rooms from the admin center. Legal hold for private channels. We all know we're waiting for that. Access teams without an internet connection. Nothing worse than getting in and then it just looks like you can't connect. So think of the days where Actually, that happened with Outlook. And then they said, oh, you know what? We should just make an offline mode where you can come in, you can do things like you'd be working on a plane. When you get to an internet connection, now it could just fire off. That's the same concept here. So you can still go into Teams, you can still do everything. However, it won't send until you connect. So pretty exciting. I think I already said e-discovery for Teams, and then the batch policy assignment. All right, let's take a look at a few of them. We've got Advisor for Teams. That is in public preview. It might be in GA soon, or it maybe has landed, but this is really cool. This is what every M365 or Teams project manager will eat up, because it's already got a predefined solution of what you're going to roll out. Then you can deploy it and have a checklist of everything. But when you deploy it, it deploys to Microsoft Teams, and it gives you a tab. And within that planner tab is all of these checklists of every step you need to enable Teams. And this isn't just about like an adoption or a training. Now, this is technical too. This is very technical. Making sure that you have your network ready, making sure you have, all of the things that you need to have in place. Make sure you're in Exchange Online, you name it. You have all your policies reviewed. And so I definitely recommend Advisor for Teams. I think it's probably one of my latest and greatest favorite features. All right, this is the policy assignment I was referring to, where we have EDU and healthcare already done, but we're trying to get into more markets and also give you the ability to create your own company specific policies. So what you do basically, because if you're not aware what I'm talking about, in the M360 or Microsoft Teams Admin Center, you have, I think it's 12 policies assigned to each user. And if you want to change the policies, which absolutely you should review them and decide if that is the right policy for you, I think Microsoft comes out and creates these policies and says, absolutely, this applies to 85, 95% of organizations out there. But there's still industries that have different requirements, and you may have a different requirement. So reviewing all of those policies is extremely critical. And if you need to change them after you decide, okay, we're going to be deploying soon, now we have these two that are different, this is a quick way to assign and simplify the policy assignment. So you can use security groups, and PowerShell will be coming soon. That's where you can just say, everybody in this group gets this new policy. So great for app permission policy. All right, next one is Network Planner. This is also in the Microsoft Admin Center. This is where you can share or prepare your environment. You can go ahead and set up scenarios or even put in different locations and test the network strength. I think I also have in here, learn how to use Teams. So I've got a link there for technical documentation, and then assigning the right admin roles. I think that's another session too. We could talk about administration quite a bit. But in order to get into the admin center, you do have to have the right admin roles. Another new feature, this is a per team or cross team analytics. This could be like a leaderboard game, if you ask me, but you can actually select two different teams and then just see the difference. Where this could maybe be used, I think of our team summit we're having here today. If there's, I think I heard there's already been several happening this year. Each one of them could be a team, and then you could see the analysis of the user adoption or the user activity throughout each of them to see if there's a trend over time or when things peak. So I could see a lot of use cases for it. So this is a really cool thing. And this is located in the admin center. Teams reporting came out. I think there's now 7, 8 different reports. If you click on the drop down, it's going to show you everything. So live events reports, call quality reports. Then we've got Teams phones and Teams rooms. This is cool. You can actually, instead of going down one level and down the stairs and across the building into that one room, you can just restart the device from here. So making it easier for you. I don't know. I mean, Your steps may decline, so you might have to think of another way to go get your steps in. But doing that here is pretty neat. All right, that is as much as I have. I'm going to tell you, watch your message center, follow the team's roadmap. I know it's hard to manage all this change, but if you, at least on a monthly basis, get your governance group together, look at the message center, look at the roadmap, see, you can totally check mark and say, this is what's rolling out, this is what's in development, and so you can make it really small and make it more manageable to see what's happening. And of course, follow on Twitter and read your team's blogs.